So I'm sure you all saw the recent Xbox event, and by popular request, I wanted to talk about a few of the games that really stood out for me from this reveal. Okay, let's just kick things off by saying I'm a big fan of games that are made by a small team or a small amount of developers. And the idea at Xbox reveal that recently happened had several of those that really had my ears perk up and take notice. One that I have talked about on Unlock that I've definitely changed my tune on is the Ascent. A lot of people have been really excited for this one, and I'm finally coming around and realizing the appeal. So first of all, this is a top-down shooter, but this trailer that they revealed this time did a really good job of showcasing the effects, the storytelling, and some of the design choices that they've made. Some notes that I made is I love the effects that they added during combat, or maybe I just hadn't noticed them before, but there was this one ground explosion that really stood out to me. And for some reason, I'm like, okay, yeah, I want in after seeing the other things. The particle effects are looking great. They even low key showed off ray tracing in puddles. This could be the PC version of the game. We don't know. It could be the Series X version, but time will tell. Around 1 minute in the new trailer, also, you see this impressive depth of world design where you can look through one of the windows in the game and you see this whole world. And that's another thing that really piqued my interest, is that they're doing a better job at showing off how they're going to show off the world and showing off how they're going to tell the story of whatever is going on in the Ascent. I'd say it's a little bit humorous, but the gameplay hook has me enough. And now that there's a narrative hook, I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing here. It's not just a top-down perspective. You're actually doing interesting things with the camera where you show off more of the world and give players a little bit better, or viewers a little bit better of an impression of what you're going to show here. The opening shot that does a sweep of the city, that's also another thing that did it for me. If there's story beats like that are constantly breaking up that perspective and showing off different things, then that's really exciting. And it seems like there's going to be class variety and loot. This game really spoke to me this time. Okay, and it's coming to Game Pass on day one. So the first 4 games I'm going to talk about are coming to Game Pass day one. OMNO, a very chill game. It's like a puzzle solving game that involves this little character stick. And I really like the art style. The platforming with the staff looks really interesting. It seems like the whole game mechanic is based around his staff and powering it up. Interacting with stuff in the world looks really great. That was actually one of my favorite aspects, was how he would go up to this cube. He would like take out the energy of it, then the cube would fold up. It definitely shows a lot of care. I don't really know a lot about the game besides that, but it definitely piqued my interest. Yes, Game Pass day one. Okay, here's one I never thought that I would like. Moonglow Bay. Looking at it, my immediate thought was like, okay, it's one of those Minecraft games using the Minecraft engine. But then they had the interview with the developers, and it's a game based about Canada lore. And being a Canadian, yes, I was born in Canada, that piqued my interest up. So I kind of came around on the art style. I'm like, okay, yeah, but what they're doing is they're utilizing that as a way to tell this interesting lore-based story. So contextually, it makes sort of sense why it looks like, why the world looks that way. And the other thing that was really interesting to me that had me wanting to dive in more is that the fish seem like they're nightmares, or people who've been lost at sea. They manifest back in reality as these nightmare fish. And I'm really intrigued by what they're doing there. And again, Game Pass day one, there's really no barrier to me trying it out. Here's one I did not think I would say. I'm not a big JRPG fan, but this one has my interest because there are creators from Final Fantasy involved, and that is Astria Ascending. I hope I said that right. It's basically a turn-based RPG, like traditional combat, where you go into battle and then you take your turn, and there's a victor at the end and probably a celebration dance. It has a really unique art style that I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it. It just sort of has just enough of a unique take that I'm really intrigued. The 2 people involved are a writer. I have a difficult time enunciating these names, so I apologize in advance for saying it wrong. Nojima-san, which is Kazushige Nojima, I believe, and he worked on Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy X. I know there's the whole laughing scene in Final Fantasy X, but I absolutely loved the overall narrative about, you know, Yuna and, man, it's been so long. Yuna and Titus, or was Titus the soccer player? Anyway, I loved Final Fantasy X, and the Final Fantasy VII he worked on was Remake, which is really, really popular. And then the music was Sakimoto-san, Hitoshi Sakimoto. He worked on Final Fantasy XII and Vagrant Story. So, you know, I mean, that's obviously a strategy, putting them in front of the camera, talking about the creation. But I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, you got some heavy hitters working on this thing. I'll check it out, especially because it's Game Pass day one. So the first few entries I've been talking about Game Pass, and then there's the sizzle, and I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Stalker 2. The reason it's not on my personal list yet is because largely we've seen a lot of technical concept and stuff, so obviously that one's looking good. But a few others that jumped out at me during their sizzle, which I didn't get a robust look at, were Backbone. You're a pixel art raccoon, I think. I don't really know what's going on there, but I really liked the design of the world, so I'm intrigued about that one. Edge of Eternity looks to be a traditional RPG, and the fact that it's Game Pass day one has me really, really interested, because I'm like, oh, so like I can just hop in and play a full-blown RPG. Is it an MMORPG? That one I want to learn a little bit more about. And then one that just caught my eye visually was Stellaris. It's this beautiful like space shooter. Again, all Game Pass games. So I'm going to be able to try all these out on day one. So that has me really, really hyped. Okay. A few not coming to Game Pass, or at least games that I couldn't find anything out Game Pass wise, were Lost Eidolons. This seems to be like a Final Fantasy Tactics RPG. It's from Ocean Drive Studios. The storytelling looks great. And I actually, they've actually said a few things about it. There's going to be strategic turn-based tactical combat, in-depth character customization. You're going to be able to explore a meaningful outgame, and that means like when you interact and create allies and stuff, it's actually going to have an impact on your overall story. A carefully crafted classical story, a story revolving around the bonds formed between comrades struggling for freedom in a continent marred by war, and then a beautifully orchestrated original soundtrack. So a game that also just came to Game Pass that really, really sounds like a similar tone was Octopath Traveler. Octopath Traveler was a game I originally played on Switch, but now it's available on, you know, Game Pass. I was playing on my Android phone the other day that I have specifically just for playing games like that. So, man, yeah. So Lost Eidolons looks absolutely gorgeous, and I'm interested enough to check it out. If it does come to Xbox, I am looking forward to it. Okay, this one is a no-brainer. We've been talking about it on Unlock forever, but 12 Minutes is coming this year. That's all we know. That was from Luis Antonio, director. And basically 12 Minutes is a story of you're having dinner with your wife, somebody breaks in and murders your wife, and you have to solve the mystery or stop that murder from happening. And you're stuck in a Groundhog Day type loop where you're continually dealing with that. Well, the game has gotten additional support in the form of some really, really great voice actors. You have Daisy Ridley, James McAvoy, and Willem Dafoe now playing a part in this game. So I'm really, really excited about 12 Minutes. I also thought it was really cheeky that they took one of my comments. I was spamming chat, just hoping that they would use one of them, and they did. And I am actually excited about the actors who were involved with the project, and I can't wait to try it. And the last one that has actually been talked about for a long time was Exo 1. This was the spinning orb thing. It seems like it's very chill. I would compare it sort of to Marble Madness. If you remember Marble Madness, where you would navigate through the level as a marble. You're a spinning orb, and you have to like use the momentum as you're an orb to become a disc, and then you want to coast through the levels to a chill beat. It seems like a really, really interesting ambiance, and it definitely had me intrigued. Now, these are just a few of the games that intrigued me personally, but man, there were some really, really beautiful looking titles, games that there were 20 games that are coming to Game Pass day one, so you can just try them out right away if you're interested. And then the rest of them will be coming to Xbox, and there were 60 games revealed, so there's so much. And if I didn't talk about your favorite, maybe you can tell me about it in the comments below. Those are just a few of my picks. Let me know if you had any. And if you're watching this and you like this style of content, don't forget to subscribe. I have a Game Pass video going up on Monday. I actually was going to post it today, but I bumped it because the baby woke me up at 12:30. So I'm like, oh, I'll record my favorite games from ID at Xbox really quick. Anyway, so that'll go up on Monday. It's another Game Pass video. Sunday is Paul versus Destin. So if you like content on this channel, man, I have like a week of stuff already shot that's going to be scheduled. So hit that subscribe button. If you've already subscribed, thank you so much. I went from 20,000 to 35,000 subs in a week. It's just insane. And I don't even know what is going on anymore, but I thank you. Thank you so much. If you want to support more, you can become a member. Members are basically like subscribers. And what I do, and subscribers on Twitch, for example, and what I do is I just upload the same video without any ads turned on, so you can just watch it immediately at 12:30 at night if that's appealing to you. Yeah, so I'm just going to keep letting you know about all the things that are going on with the channel, and just thank you for everything. Yeah, those were my picks. Let me know what you thought. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really got to come up with like a standardized outro besides plugging the stuff. Anyway, I'm Destin. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody. Outro bye.